I'm Paragon. Red lights are the number one cause of traffic accidents. And welcome to Gamecast podcast. On board today we have Mr. Bobbito.
Yo.
And Redline.
Yeah, what else is there?
And a bunch of background noise.
Yay!
And this is Gamecast podcast number 5. Today we're going to discuss some of the the upside and downside of sequels to gaming. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Evo. But first is...
Oh, that was a drum roll, by the way.
Yes. Gaming news! As usual, it's time for us to review gaming news as it has happened in the past week.
Yay!
Right. Can't get that out.
So enthusiastic.
Got that right.
First things, Microsoft and Sony have stated they will not be having a panel at Gamescom.
No point.
Fair.
I'm so upset. They won't be unveiling their new
Scorpio.
All the Microsoft Scorpio Slim.
We are presenting the Microsoft Slim Scorpio X5 version 6.
Still in digital development.
With 8K resolution.
Right.
Whoa.
Next in news is that
Bandai Namco.
Thank you. Fucking Japanese people. Bandai Namco will reportedly showcase a new IP at Gamescom. Supposedly is meant for us, the Western audience.
So it's a first-person shooter.
Pretty much.
So it's a rehash of something we've already had before.
Even
It's
more
gonna
likely.
be the Sims killer. All right.
They've taken a popular TV show and just adapted it into a game.
Charles in Charge 2K60.
Supernatural, the video game.
American Dad versus the Family Guy.
But they're still speaking Japanese.
Oh, no.
Semgo.
Coco desu.
Dean-san. Speaking of
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, speaking of Bandai Namco, fucking Japanese. Tekken 7 showcased 2 added characters.
Yeah,
The first one is Bob's back.
Boo.
Right.
Boo.
Yay.
Fucking.
Why does Bob get launch priority over Lee and Lei? I don't understand that.
I'm really hurt about Lei not being in the back. Come on now. But I'm pretty sure they can probably replace him with a new character or something like that. Speaking of new character, the second character is Master Raven.
Not to be confused with Raven,
Not to be confused with the person with the same name.
but the master of Raven.
Yeah, there's not much we know about her, but we can assume from the name that she is, in fact, the Master Raven.
She plays just like Kunimitsu and Raven in the same character, just like Shaheen plays like Bob and Lee.
They're probably gonna have like I wanted to have like an accessory where she wears sunglasses, just so I can call her Female Blade.
Oh, you'll be able to put them on her.
Oh, Blade Icewood. Oh.
The hit television series Rick and Morty is getting a virtual reality game.
Wow, because I never cared about the show, so I care about the game. I didn't,
Oh my god!
Right.
Can
Oh,
someone
sorry.
explain to me what the show's about?
Oh!
Right.
I
Okay, so-
never watched it.
Okay, Morty. So look, there's a lot of scientific stuff going out there, and it's like scientific. And we travel the world and dimensions and stuff, looking into those things. It's real cut and dry. We don't shove any of it. That's the show in a nutshell. Sorry.
So far as, if I'm correct, 3 seasons, and has a huge following, but
It's 2 seasons. It's 2 seasons, and it has a great fall. It's a great show.
okay.
The creator Dan Harmon, he did Community. It's a great show.
okay.
So, but yeah, it's getting a VR game. And it looks like, from what I've seen, the small teaser trailer was released. It showed you're playing as Morty. I guess they immediately note how they're in the virtual reality game.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And
might pass.
me being a skeptic of VR in general, it looks like it might do something. On the topic of video game trailers, there was a trailer released for Telltale's Batman, which releases episode 1, I think, August 2nd.
Yes, sure does.
I seen the trailer, and I'm not impressed.
I swear I've seen gameplay for it already. Might be on YouTube randomly time.
You saw the Evo trailer?
No. I swear I saw something new recently. I don't know. I haven't paid it. I didn't pay attention.
I'm a little Batman out.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, this is a lot of Batman stuff going around. I'm getting tired, but more importantly than that, it just looks like a rehash of like one of the first stories of Batman. Like it looks like it's a Harvey Dent thing before Two-Face. So,
and
Dark Knight.
I'm just glad I don't see the Joker anywhere.
Well, Batman is the face of DC Comics.
Pretty much.
And they can't push nobody else because
Batman's the face of Detective Comics.
Yep, Detective Comics.
I used to like Danger Girl though.
And then on top of that, I don't like episodic gaming. I'm starting to get a little disenfranchised by it.
You didn't like Last of Us? I mean, not Last of Us. Life is Strange.
I like Life is Strange, but I didn't like the episodic format because it kept doing that whenever you had like a climatic moment, and it just kills it like next episode in 2 months.
Life is Strange.
Yeah, that's why we wait for the collector's edition.
That's why most people wait for it. Yeah. Speaking of episodic gaming, in a recent interview, the Hideo Kojima said that episodic gaming is the future of gaming, and that full-length games will be a thing of the past. And since Kojima said it, I guess that means it's true.
Because they want our money.
I mean, someone who, Kojima's mostly made nothing but full-length games. That might just be him speaking on behalf of Sony.
I was gonna say because Kojima's games are beyond full-length.
Yeah,
Those games seem like they're gonna end, and it's like 30 more hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
So see him saying that. See him saying episodic gaming is the future.
Mm-hmm.
That.
I hope not. I like not.
I really hope not. Yeah, that's
20-hour games sometimes.
200 hours.
Just imagine playing a linear game that only lasts about an hour of gameplay, and then they want you to play the next episode.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm tired of getting games in the afternoon.
Well, I mean,
I want a week.
New Hitman, they did that, and nobody expected it, and a lot of people were kind of upset about it. I was upset about it. I kind of wanted to get it. But I was just like, they just came out with a new episode this summer, and I'm just like, this is dumb.
What I think it is game companies can recoup their losses if they feel like people don't receive episode one well.
Mm-hmm.
They can just be like, well, we don't have to make the rest of it.
Right. It's kind of like everyone who buys an episodic first episode is like a control group, and then based on that, they're like, oh, okay, we'll just make a continuation.
Yeah, because of that, I don't get a sequel to D4.
Right. Wait, D4 was...
Dark Dreams Don't Die.
Oh. So when you say D, I'm thinking like D is in Dracula, like the old PS1 game. There's a PC game, there's a PS1 game. And then they came up with a D2. So, it was kind of whack. It was good at the time.
I look forward to never hearing about that again.
I'm going to bring it up and play it one day. It's hilarious.
Alright, so that concludes all of the gaming news for this week. Wasn't a lot, but that's to be expected whenever you're going into a gaming convention like Gamescom.
Wait. San Diego Comic-Con is actually this weekend, so...
Even more so the reason.
Next podcast, we will definitely be talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know for a fact that Mr. Ed Boon himself said that he's revealing 2 Injustice characters tomorrow at their panel. So... look out for that.
If neither one of those characters is static, I'm gonna hate the game.
It'll be 2 variations of Batman.
It will.
He also
Terry McGinnis.
confirmed that Martha...
Martha Kent is playable?
No.
Martha Wayne?
It's playable?
No. What's the Manhunters?
Oh, Martha.
McGann?
I think so. He said, it's something on Twitter, he was like, somebody was asking this person's in the game. Start with him. And he was like, oh no, her super's not finished yet. Megan, there we go. Megan, there we go, my bad.
Hello.
I was like, okay, yeah, y'all right. So yeah.
Get ready for that.
She's confirmed.
You know they're going to have the young Justice person voice her. Like, it's going to be...
Bring back Young Justice. You hear me, Cartoon Network and Netflix.
Bring back Young
the power.
Justice. Young Justice season 3.
Bring it back.
Spread the word.
Don't end season 2 on that.
We need it.
Awesome cliffhanger, and then no more. Who cares about toys? I want my show.
I love that show. Well, moving on to the main topic today, we wanted to take a moment to discuss sequels in gaming. The reason I wanted to bring up this topic discussion is because I realized at E3 we got a lot of sequels.
Yeah.
Dishonored 2, Gears of War 4, God of War 4, Resident Evil 7.
Somehow.
Right.
P2. No, what's the PT?
PT2.
PT Evil. PT Evil. But generally, sequels in gaming, love, regardless of how good or bad they can be. And I'm starting to wonder, are there too many sequels?
I wouldn't. I don't think there's too many sequels. I think that when certain games become franchised, then they can kind of get overboard, especially after the third installment of the game or the sub prequel installment, and then another number sequel after that. I do think a lot of companies tend to fall back on that sometimes. I mean, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, things like that. But I think if you have a really good game and it has a good following, a lot of people like it, I don't think there's anything wrong with making a sequel for it, even a sequel for that sequel, as long as you do it right, you implement it right.
Yeah, because with games like everybody who hasn't played the original Dead Space, you played it, just not all the way through.
Then I can't raise my hand either.
Okay, so the original Dead Space is a good game. Sorry, Cliff, Redline, I know you didn't play. Sorry, Redline. But it's a good game. But Dead Space 2 is an amazing game. So in situations like that, a sequel is not a bad thing. Sequels can be better than Assassin's Creed 2 is better than Assassin's Creed. Silent Hill 2 is lauded as one of the best games.
Silent Hill 2 is really good. It's better than the first one just for software reasons, really, hardware reasons. But I mean, it was good. The first one is just as good, in my opinion. If you can handle the
but you see if you mention Silent Hill and everyone mentions that one twist, it's always Silent Hill 2.
What a twist!
Don't tell me. I want to play.
Special guest M. Night Shyamalan.
What?
We're planning next.
What a twist!
Check out Twitch.tv.
Silent Hill next gameplay. Which reminds me, we still doing Costume Quest 2, so check that out on the page. But I asked that because that was like sequels bring up so much hype. They bring up a lot of hype.
Well, it depends on how good the first one did.
Well, that's true, but I mean, like, people wanted Duke Nukem forever.
For forever.
Yeah, it took forever, but the hype didn't die down. Shenmue 3 around the corner somewhere.
But you know what though? There's a difference though. Like Shenmue 3, Duke Nukem Forever. Those are fan-driven sequels. Like, and mind you, the gap in between them is literally like a decade. Versus like, I enjoyed Assassin's Creed 1 through 3. I don't need Syndicate. I don't need Brotherhood. I don't need
Pirate, whatever.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Black Flag.
In terms of Assassin's Creed, as somebody who's literally played every single one, it's Assassin's Creed is not necessarily a direct sequel anymore. It's more so like a collection of games.
They're more like timepieces.
They're like encyclopedias.
Yeah.
At this point. And
I will say that is one thing I do like about them, though, because I'm a big history buff.
Yeah.
And I do like that they've kind of become timepieces and encyclopedias.
Because after the first 3, it doesn't really follow the same linear story.
No.
If
the world ends and Desmond...
Yeah, Desmond sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
The world is saved somewhat. But after that, you don't see Desmond anymore. You know, you're not following Desmond anymore. And each game is like its own standalone. So Syndicate takes place in London. Unity takes place in France. Rogue takes place all across America. I don't know. But
Unity took place in Glitchland.
Right?
It's terrible. It's trash.
Terrible game. But that's just the thing about that. See, that situation, Assassin's Creed, they're not making sequels anymore, direct sequels. What they're making now is more just... They're using the title.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about games like Shenmue 3, that and Duke Nukem Forever, those were lauded. Like, they wanted those.
Yeah. Well, Shenmue needed one because it was an incomplete story.
I was going to say, Shenmue 2 ended on a really good cliff note. I mean, cliffhanger.
Carry on, ladies and
yeah, it ended on a cliff note if you didn't... It's one sentence. But, it ended open end. It really brings things into question.
Right.
And then they released Shenmue 3. They showed a little commercial. They go, everyone's throwing their money at Kickstarter. Like, make this game.
Now, what is your opinion on something like Resident Evil 7?
I don't know. I feel like Resident Evil should have probably ended around 4. But, because here's the thing. Resident Evil 1 through 4... The vibe of the game is the same.
Yeah.
5, it starts to delve into action.
Well, 1 through 3.
Okay.
And then 4.
4 was in the middle somewhere, I'd say. But 5, it does really start to delve into action. 6 is an action game. I'm sorry, it definitely is.
Yes.
And then 7 tries to go back to its roots. But the thing is, I always felt like the natural progression of Resident Evil was that it turned into an action game at some point. Because when it's just Raccoon City, you can make that a horror game.
Story-wise, it made sense. It was like, okay, because Resident Evil 1 through 3 essentially was talking about kind of the early stages of the viruses.
Yeah.
They were produced to be BOWs. And then by the time you get to 5 and up, these are like black market, viruses that are used to strengthen soldiers or whatever, and they just really become mutates. But as far as gameplay and as far as like people who are really big fans of the core story of the game, it went astray because really what it was just kind of following like gaming trends as far as what they felt people wanted. So they wanted the Gears of War, the Halo experience, and all that.
Right, and I just didn't. But I feel like, like you said, story-wise, it had to go that way. Mm. You can't really justify it being a walking around and shooting random appearing zombies every now and then.
Right.
After 3 games. Because it's so much bigger. So, story-wise, I felt like that was the appropriate route. But at the same time, it does change the game dramatically. Mm-hmm. And then 7, they're back to walking around the corner horror.
Yeah.
You can see why. It's like
I don't mind it as much. I'm curious to know, after Resident Evil 6, like, what the hell could have possibly warranted story-wise for a 7? I do like the kind of approach they take, which PT really kind of, or the demo formerly known as PT.
That demo inspired so many games. Yeah, it's crazy.
It was such a good demo.
Allison Roll, it inspired half of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
And now Resident Evil 7 is get the same. It's really interesting, but it's still a sequel. At the end of the day, you still slapped Resident Evil on it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's not gonna be Resident Evil, but you just called it Resident Evil.
Yeah, that is gonna be kind of interesting. I'm curious to know, like, because it doesn't seem like it's a zombie game. It seems like it's a more kind of a realistic, psychological
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, not even necessarily paranormal. I don't know, like the guy in the demo. I mean, he didn't seem like a zombie. He's like he might be possessed or he might be crazy or some stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm excited though. January 1st.
I look at it this way: different types of horrors, they like different type of responses. Most people who like gore horror, it's because of the gore. There's a lot of excessive gore. If you considered Resident Evil one type of horror, and you play Resident Evil 7's demo, and it's an entirely different type of horror.
But it still falls under survival horror.
It does. But it's more psychological than it is
horror,
gore, zombie,
Survival horror is more like, we're not going to give you no ammo, so you better learn how to conserve it.
Like you're walking around with a camera and just going like, I hope nothing jumps out.
Right.
But it can be survival horror and still be psychological horror. It's just that it's taken up a different route than the original games while still trying to maintain that sense of you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And they kind of had to because RE6 really had a bad reputation. A lot of people really didn't like that game.
Yeah, well,
so they wanted them to kind of regress back to survival horror.
And I hate to say it, but I feel like people give too much slack. I mean, they give it too much flack. And Resident Evil 6
Resident Evil 6?
It's a good game. It's not a good Resident Evil.
It's a terrible game. It is an absolute terrible game.
I mean, I feel that way. I feel like it's Capcom's formula.
It takes a lot of it has good mechanics in a sense.
Yeah.
But the thing, because if you ever notice, Resident Evil, I don't want to spend too much time on Resident Evil, but like Resident Evil 5, story-wise to me was lacking. The game was fun as hell to play because it kind of introduced a new co-op online element to Resident Evil. RE6 did the same thing, but it didn't execute it the same way.
I agree with that, but again, for them, the worst thing I felt about Resident Evil 6 is at some point I didn't feel like I was playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, no. Maybe Leon's chapter.
Leon is a little more Resident Evil-y.
Yeah.
But when you're playing as what's his name, Jake?
Yeah.
It's just,
Jake Wesker.
Wesker Jr. and you're playing as Chris. It's a different game.
It's Gears of Evil.
But I'll leave it at that, Resident Evil. So I guess the first question I have about that, Redline, Do you think there are too many sequels?
No, I think yes and no. I don't think sequels are innately bad. I think that too many companies rely too much on a single franchise and then try to milk as many games out of it as possible.
Halo.
Hey,
He's not lying.
yeah.
Halo 5 is one of the most pointless stories I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story for what it is, for like 15 minutes of story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. C-O-S. D.
Yeah.
My bad.
Call
But,
of Duty definitely.
It should have stopped after the third one, I believe.
Call of Duty has a story?
The third what?
Third Call of Duty? Modern Warfare? I think
That's still like the eighth.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is what, at
Buffed up
12
graphic-wise.
sequels or something?
Yeah. But I wouldn't really call those
I was going to say, the thing about Call of Duty, though, is that they're separating them in categories.
Well, Call of Duty would almost kind of be under like a Madden, 2K, EA Sports kind of umbrella because it's the kind of game that most people don't play it necessarily for the campaign or for the story.
No one plays it for the campaign.
It's kind of like an Unreal Tournament. It's a based first person shooter. I mean, Unreal Tournament is great. I don't know too. But I'm saying like it's just kind of a based first person shooter, online shooter. So and they've done a good job of kind of making it become its own thing. Because when you think first person shooter, you think Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But when you got games, I mean, you got things like Battlefront, not Battlefront, Battlefield.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Battlefront is good.
That was a waste of
Battlefront is a game.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I like lightsabers too. Not like that.
It was great.
But yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't consider them like sequels. They're kind of a. At this point, they're kind of a commodity.
I guess you can say that they're like a yearly release thing, and they're definitely updated for the fact that people can play a new one every year. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily like them because they do have campaigns, and they're trying to put emphasis on we have this and this added to the game. But unlike sports games, they're not updating to match anything,
Right.
When you talk about Madden or 2K, those things are matching rosters, and that's actually updating new players and new features they want to add to the game and stuff.
Right.
When you're talking Call of Duty, it's usually Call of Duty, really weird and actiony campaign, maybe like a new feature like a jetpack.
Right. Well, but you got to think too.
Space.
And zombies mode.
But then again, if Madden, if all it really takes for them is to update the roster, they really wouldn't need to sell.
I agree, 100%. But
they add new features each game. They add new features.
Every game is a sort of refinement from the previous.
Hasn't been good since 06.
Call of Duty, it's hard to tell because they refine and then they end up regressing. And then, just look at Infinite Warfare and the sort of backlash that caused. And then most people were like myself.
And the sad thing is, Infinite Warfare should touch all the points I want in the game. It's in space, which is like a thing I like. It's fast paced. It has a lot of visual going on there, but it's just that I've seen so many different Call of Duties. Mm-hmm. It wanes on you.
Yeah,
and that's just the point. They've made so many sequels to sequels. It's not even a sequel to the last game.
Yeah,
it's just I'm seeing too much Call of Duty. Bobbito, what do you think? Too many sequels?
Well, I want to get to a very sensitive subject here. Let's talk about our favorite, I guess, game that has a million sequels, and that's Final Fantasy. Do y'all think we ever gonna get tired of that?
No. The only. Go ahead.
There's so many, and then there's sub games of the main games.
This is the only problem I have is that Final Fantasy's sequels aren't sequels at all.
13, 1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry, let me finish that.
X2.
Final Fantasy. The direct numbers like 13 to 14, 14 to 15.
Okay.
Those aren't sequels in themselves. Those are just different stories, and they're just keeping the Final Fantasy. It's like the Marvel universe of games.
Right.
They're in.
You just put a sequential number to it.
Yeah, because if they want to bring these characters together in one game, they'll make Dissidia. But they're different stories. They're entirely different. Now, when you're talking about Final Fantasy 13, oh god.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Uh-huh.
And X2. And what's the one? Advanced 2. I know there's more sequels somewhere down the line.
Oh yeah, hell, Final Fantasy.
I was gonna say, bring up 7. You're talking 7, Crisis Core, Before Crisis, Dirge of Cerberus,
Yeah, right. So I was say
Advent Children,
The Last Order, which is actually an anime.
The Last Order, which
Advent Children was also a movie.
Advent Children Complete. They really milked Final Fantasy 7.
Which they just put blood on Cloud and Sephiroth. That was it.
Yeah.
But
It's such a point.
What about another sensitive subject for some of us? Devil May Cry. Because they're not really sequels, they're more like a prequel, and then I'm going back in time, and I'm stronger back then. So they're sequels, but story-wise, they're prequels.
I like the Devil May Cry way of doing things. Because the first game, you didn't know really anything about Dante at all.
yeah.
Then they pretty much just tell the story of the game. They don't delve into his history every 5 seconds. Just have like a bunch of flashbacks that's playable.
So it's like this.
So it's not a Kishimoto manga. That's what we're saying.
They could have just as easily went Devil May Cry 3, 4, done. And that was it. They really need 2. Even though I did like the female playable character. I thought the design was kind of sweet. But the game was just complete utter summertime ass.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. The sequel to 3 made 2 a blemish.
Yeah.
People didn't like 2. They liked 1, sort of. 2 came out, salty.
Yeah.
3 came out, Devil May Cry bandwagon. You know? And then from there on, 4 was amazing. The reboot doesn't exist. And you know, they can still sell 3 and 4. People will buy it. But that's just how that was. 3 is lauded as the best Devil May Cry game by most people.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Except me.
I would say 1.
4.
99%.
I'll take it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that wasn't a direct sequel. That was interesting. You had different stories, and at the same time, it was different points in his life.
Yeah.
So you have to patch it together yourself.
Now, and then you have to include it, but then you always get the one sort of reboot of the series, which was DMC.
And I didn't know if I wanted to include that. I didn't.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to. It was kind of the elephant.
Because reboots should kind of sequels because it didn't like change the story that much. Did they?
They changed to Dante, and that was more than enough to get people in an uproar. You know. But I mean, honestly, the one thing I will give that game is that if you look at DMC Dante and you look at Devil May Cry Dante, it's essentially the same kind of character. It's the same character.
I would say the personality
characteristics are
is trying to be the same, but I guess he's much more modern in character.
Yeah, he looked kind of like Punk Jonas' brother, and I didn't like that.
I didn't like the look at all. Zero. You know, he wasn't. He was really scrawny, and his character is too modern for my taste. Like, it's like Edge to death.
Just waiting to see him pull out a Telecaster and play an emo song.
Yeah.
No, wrong. You gotta play Evanescence.
But the thing about reboots is that's what they do. They try to modernize the original series, and then in a way, they're a sequel. Because people who love the original series are probably going to try to buy the reboot.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that rule really doesn't really apply for really is fighting games, because you're going to always need a fighter. You're always going to need a fighting game. Now, if you want to, like, let's say they say, okay, Street Fighter V is the last numeric Street Fighter that we're going to make. Now, you can't really reboot it at this point because you already have Street Fighter 4 from 8 years ago, which was a reboot in a sense anyway.
4 iterations of it.
Yeah. And then you had Alpha, which was a prequel, and you had the EX series, which was we don't talk about, and then stuff like that. So unless they make a new IP, I'm gonna
do one better. As far as fighting games that shouldn't have gone the sequel route again, Soul Calibur 5.
Yeah.
Wait, do you think we'll get a 6?
No,
we
I hope to God we don't.
We argue they're already talking about 6, but hopefully they learn the lessons of 5. You see, 5. I'm sorry. 5's problem was that at that time Namco, their bread and butter was always Tekken, and they had the Soul series, which was a good anchor because it was really the only weapons-based fighting game of its kind. But then by the time SC5 came out, they really kind of tried to go a Capcom route because they saw the kind of crowd and popularity that Street Fighter and Capcom garnished. And so they tried to implement a lot of different mechanics into the game. You know, meters. I need to use meter to guard break, which made no sense.
That ruined the game.
That was one thing that ruined the game for me. Soul Calibur 5, first off, anybody who's playing Soul Calibur at the point Soul Calibur 5 came out likes the characters.
That's the only reason. The only reason I bought that game, because I hadn't played it like the first half a year was out, is because at that point, after 4, Soul Calibur was getting sort of ass. So I was like, you know what? I can at least buy it because I like the characters, I like some of the stages, and I like the music.
4 was extremely disappointing after 3, which, in my opinion, is the best Soul Calibur. It has the most to do. It has multiple endings for characters.
Right. Mm-hmm. See, I have this conversation with a ton of people all the time. Here's the thing about everything pre-5. The thing about Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 4 is that they had easily the most balanced and best addictive fighting mechanics in the game.
Agreed.
Like, they were really balanced games. Now, when you look at something like Soul Blade, which most people don't remember, or Soul Calibur 3...
Or Soul Edge.
That's Soul Blade.
That is Soul Blade.
Yeah. Or Soul Calibur 3. Soul Calibur 3 was a broke fest. The reason it was a broke fest... I mean, Siegfried was as fast as Taki in that game.
Siegfried was hilariously fast.
He was just murdering everybody.
And it was my main, so it was even worse.
Everything. You do whatever you wanted to with him. He was Cloud. But, actually one of his costumes literally kind of was Cloud. Right. Xianghua was, oh my goodness.
Xianghua was broken.
Xianghua was super broke. But the thing I like about Soul Blade, Soul Calibur 2, or excuse me, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur 3, and Soul Calibur on Dreamcast was that those games had the most in-game content. They each had character-specific stages. They each had their own soundtrack. Every character had a theme and stage music. And they just had the most... It was the most engaging game. And 2 and 5 were more kind of FGC-oriented. 2 and 5 were kind of the prototypes of Street Fighter V's release, which is cut it down to the bare essentials of what someone in a tournament setting or someone who wants to run casuals or practice is going to want. Yeah, it still has story mode. It still has a little bit of content, but we need to focus more on a balanced fighting system. We can focus more on kind of, weighing out these characters, and kind of making sure that they're cultivated where they need to be.
Following 3, they really did try to get back to that more fighting mechanic based than... But 3, when you talk about 3, there was Weapon Master. An entirely different story on top of this story of the main game. Chronicles of the Sword, yeah, Chronicles of the Sword. There was the creation of characters where you didn't have to copy someone else's style.
Right. I mean, even though the character created styles, the character created specifics were like they were like ill armed, like they weren't really balanced. They weren't. You couldn't fight one of the main cast members with a character created martial arts.
I was gonna say, like, someone made...
unless you throw shurikens all day from your back.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
If someone made one of those characters, you tried to play one of your created characters, you weren't getting out of that alive.
They were meant to just fight other created characters.
But that was 3. 3 was, had all these features for people who weren't, in-depth fighting game players.
Right.
That could do so much more. And then 4 kind of just wiped all of that.
Right. But you know what I've noticed, too? All the Soul Caliburs that I named that were balanced fighting, had balanced fighting mechanics, but were, as far as like content, were just piss poor. So let's see, 2, 4, and 5 to some degree if it didn't have meter. All those were also the same Soul Caliburs that had guest characters.
Yeah,
because Soul Calibur 2 had Link.
That's true. Link, Heihachi, and Spawn.
4 had
Yoda.
4 was essentially
Star Killer.
It was essentially a kind of in-game. The game was used as sort of an advertisement for Force Unleashed, realistic.
Yeah.
And 5 had Ezio.
And this is why I hate 5. The idea of Ezio being in Soul Calibur makes way too much sense.
Right.
It did. It was the time period. It was great. It was good timing,
Mm-hmm. And he was a good character.
He's a great character.
Yeah.
In that game. I hate Soul Calibur 5, but Ezio was surprisingly more balanced than I expected him to be.
Mm-hmm.
one thing I always enjoy about fighting games is that if I don't want to sit there and compete and stuff, I can go ahead, take some time, and finish a bunch of campaigns, see a bunch of ending.
Right.
Soul Calibur 5 does not do that.
No,
and that's especially annoying when you want to know what happens to a special guest character. And
right.
Ezio is just sitting here, and I'm playing, and I was like, wonder why Ezio's here, and what's he's gonna do when he grabs the Soul Edge.
It's like, we just created this game that is known for having a really good lore, great story, great presentation, and we're on current gen at the time consoles. So let's make story mode comprised mostly of like fucking doo-doo colored paper and drawing.
They were more like
just words with like
fuck
half-ass voice acting. Right.
Fuck lore. Here's Patroclus.
And when the hell did Patroclus and Pyrrha become characters that I wanted to play? I didn't like them in Sophia's endings in the old.
And they were the best characters in the game. Patroclus, Pyros, Pyrrha, and whatever the other guy y'all just
Jouet.
No, Jouet wasn't.
Shui.
There was what was the girl with the balls name? The witch.
No, that was 5.
She was Amy. Oh, you're talking about
That's
4.
technically Amy.
It's Amy.
Viola.
Viola's Amy. And then Alpha Patroclus and was it Omega Pyrrha?
Omega Pyrrha.
Were essentially just excuses for not putting the rest of the cast in the game.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why the hell would I want to see Patroclus fight like
Alpha?
Setsuka?
Yeah, Alpha Patroclus is Setsuka. It's annoying. And the part that gets me is they don't explain any of that in game. You don't know where any of those characters come from.
But you know what? With the Soul series, a lot of the story that you had to see, you had to do your own reading, like outside of the game.
But that's not always the case. Soul Calibur 3, as you're playing as someone, they have a path where they literally explain why you're at each place you're at during each fight.
Right.
And that was interesting. Yeah, and they were interactive. Endings were interactive. Paths were interactive. Mm-hmm. If you were walking up, there was like a moment where you had to press a button or you lost health at the start of the fight. 4 doesn't necessarily do it as much, but there's still a bio in the game, to read and go through, and it tells you what they're doing and why they're doing this, and it still has an ending for each game, know?
But see, I wouldn't have known who, I didn't know Shibo was Xianghua and Keely's son, because I had to find out that the other girl in that game, was it, Shay Fei, what was her name?
We knew one is clearly Xianhua's daughter.
Right, but I didn't know that
was her. And then
Ziba
is supposed to be Keelix and Xianhua's son.
Yeah, I didn't know she had a daughter outside of Keelix.
Because she didn't marry Keelix. She married someone else.
Some Chinese
Keelix, the weapon master.
Yeah.
And they don't explain that. It's just like, at some point, he just became the weapon master.
I wonder if they had Shiba. Is he older than her? I don't know. But anyway,
No, so I guess we're going to close on Soul Calibur 5, because if we sit here and talk about that, we could probably poke holes. Last thing I want to say about the sequels in gaming, because, too many sequels, whether you believe it is or not, fact is, the gaming market is dominated by sequels, amazingly so. So I guess the question I just want to ask is, do you think gaming companies lean on sequels too much?
If it's like, let's say, random startup gaming company makes this amazing, great first game, that company is going to lean on the sequel because they got such a great response from the first one. But the whole entire company as a whole, like gaming in general, I don't think as much, but it is leaning towards the point that I think we will see a sequel for a game every other year. Like, this is God of War 3. 4 or 5. So we'll probably get 5 by 2018 because technology is pretty good now.
We'll get it before we get.
How they make it obvious that they're going to make another one?
We can't make Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
we get 2. Let's talk about sequels in that game. You got 1.
First off, let's not, because Japan has a lot of sequels they need to get out.
1, 2, all the good stuff that was on a Game Boy Advance, the ones that were on a Nintendo DS. Then you got the Japanese versions that got sent over here to America 10 years later. And then you got 2.8. Who the fuck wants to play 2.8? Who wants to play 2.8?
That's why I feel like they're leaning on them too much.
Do you want to play 2.8?
No.
Remember, Metal Gear Solid has like 20 games in between. And like they have Portable Ops and Peace Walker.
Between Solid, there was Peace Walker.
You have Peace Walker, you have Quarter Blocks, Tactics.
Ghost Babel. I beat that one.
Yeah. So, I guess, again, Bobbito, what do you think? They lean on sequels too much?
It's like if you're a startup gaming development company, then yeah, you would. But I don't, as an industry as a whole, I don't think so. It's just nostalgia reasons, the reason people don't make new things. They just like, oh, Resident Evil, you know what? I want to make a game just like Resident Evil. You know what? I'm going to make a sequel to Resident Evil because I love it so much. Instead of, hey, I want to make a game that's better than Resident Evil that's completely different. Right. Everybody wants to rehash. Why not imagine yourself?
Right. Redline?
We'll kind of piggyback on what Bobbito said. Basically, I don't think the industry as a whole relies too much on sequels. I think that certain companies and developers make a good game, they might make a sequel to it, and then they sort of franchise it, and it becomes, such and such game.
Yeah, it becomes a sequel fest after it gets good.
After a while, I think it gets annoying because even if you take a company like Square Enix, granted, I don't think Final Fantasy is sort of plagued by the sequel curse, but I think if you rely too much on one of your franchises, it stifles creativity in other areas.
Yeah,
Squaresoft or Square Enix used to have a ton of great games. They had Final Fantasy, but in the midst of making Final Fantasies, they made Raven Stories, they made Chrono Cross, they made Threads of Fate, they made Brave Prince of Musashi. They had a ton of really cool RPG elemental, but more kind of action adventure or action RPG games that were just as good, that were just as well produced, that were just as high quality as Final Fantasy. You don't really see that a lot anymore.
Yeah,
with certain games or with certain companies.
Right. I have to say that I understand the reason for sequels. As far as you're going past 2 or 3, people have invested some time in the game, and they probably like the characters, you probably like this overall story, and you want to see more of it. If you get to 4, something's wrong to me. I feel like if you're at 4, you've gone past the time for a original 3-game story.
Right.
At least that's how I feel, because you clearly are pushing it out at that point.
Right.
Assassin's Creed 1 to 3 is Desmond. Desmond dies in 3. Spoiler for people who haven't played Assassin's Creed.
Right. Still that far back in life.
Right. But he dies, definitively. And you don't see him anymore in the game. You see his dead body, but you don't see him. He's gone. Gears of War 3 is the conclusive ending of the story of Gears of War.
Right.
Done. God of War 3, done. These games had ending points, and they just keep going back to it. And that's how I feel with games like Dead Space, Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil even. They're leaning on them, in my opinion. They really are. And it's sad because it is stifling creativity.
Yeah. It makes people less likely to go out and take risks and chances and stuff. Which bothers me.
But yeah, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close on the sequel topic there. We're gonna move into our special topic for this week, which is EVO 2016. And I actually won't really be in this topic. I'm not as fighting game savvy as I would like to be. So welcome me back, the reigning drunken champion of PE Nation. It's Quasar.
She's out. What's going on, Quasar? How you doing, man? That's good.
Excuse me.
So,
what?
How was EVO for you?
It was pretty epic, actually. Tekken was the shit, of course.
Yes,
this is the best fucking game ever made. Fighting game. Excuse me?
Claudio.
Claudio.
Don't say that name. Yes. Don't say that name.
Geesemaster, a.k.a. Fangs Worldwide.
Can we talk about the American upsets? There were a lot
Everybody
of,
from Japan?
Yes. There were a lot of X factors this EVO. It was crazy. Geesemaster came out. I've seen Geesemaster play before in the past. His fame wasn't that good. But he's definitely somebody who went into the dojo and was just like, you know what?
I'm about to
fuck all this. I'm about to.
And we don't even have access to the game. So what's your favorite match in Tekken, Bobby?
Favorite match? Let's see. It could be Was it Ponko or the other Akuma player who did that 80% combo on
Ponko.
Mr. Speed Kicks? It's good to see her wrong just die a painful death, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Any day of the week. But I don't really. My favorite match would probably be the grand finals because the way Saint dismantled me and Jack's win poses, he was just flexing after every round, was classic. I thoroughly enjoyed top 8. I wish that I would have saw most of it. The rest of it, I was at work, unfortunately.
I'd have to say my favorite match is probably Beastmaster versus Novi because I'm a sucker for rooting for underdogs. I myself struggle with a lot of decent Dragunov players, especially those who can get running 2 off like that.
Yeah.
And
He just did it instantly.
yeah, he's just beautiful. But yeah, man, I have to give it up to the Geese. Whack whack.
The Geese.
There.
Well, my favorite had to be Geesemaster. Nobi was cold, but I just like the bad blood of me, JDR.
Yeah,
because they clearly hate each other.
Oh yeah, Korean tension,
Right.
Yep.
they hate each other. So they don't even shake hands.
They didn't even shake hands, and it's messed up because he used Akuma against them, knowing he didn't play that character. Mm-hmm.
Kuma's so broken. I really hope they just why.
He'll definitely get a nerf by console.
Definitely.
He either needs a meter nerf, his dive kick should not hit grounded, and he should not be doing 80% off a jab.
He has to though.
A jab.
If you contract out the use of a guest character from that kind of franchise, they have to make him stupid. And he's gonna be good. He's gonna be retarded. Oh, no offense. Word retarded. Sorry. With the word retarded. But let me see what else.
So what else did you see?
Happy to hear our boy Sleep.
Oh yeah,
Took
Sleep.
on KI.
Shout outs
Did
to
it for Detroit.
Darnell.
Yes.
He brought it
his thing.
home. He did
First Detroit Evo champion.
Second. Wolf Chrome.
no, he didn't win.
You talking about first this year?
No.
Period.
Wolf Chrome
No,
won an
Wolf
Evo.
Crow, no, he won.
He won an Evo before.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He won final round.
Right.
Wolf Chrome has won. He won an Evo years ago. It was a few years back. He won an Evo.
He's never won an Evo.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he beat Justin Wong in final round. That was it.
Oh well.
But
might be
he
my
did win
mistake.
some other tournaments, but you don't hear about those.
Right.
Wow.
It was an Evo.
Speaking of
So
Wolf Chrome,
shout outs
never
to
mind.
Sleep. F3 Sleep. He's in New York now, but I think he's back home for the day or the week.
Yeah, he's in town.
But
Best KI player.
ever.
He was getting he beat the people who have beat him, who have knocked him out in the past 2 tournaments.
Right, I heard what's his name didn't even make it a top 3.
Who? Rico.
Thomas Johnson or top
Thompson. No,
Yeah.
because Sleep beat him in winners, I believe.
Ooh. Damn.
Yeah, because Sleep never lost.
Is he still playing with
J-Lo.
Oh, he plays J. Oh, I thought he was still playing with the Egyptian guy.
No.
You talking about Sleep?
Conrad.
Sleep played with
Conrad got nerfed to high.
He got nerfed after last year. Because last year was when Sleep had that crazy comeback.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
man with my God. Yeah.
Sleep plays with Arbiter and he won with Gargos. Apparently, I'm not that deep into the KI scene, but Gargos is the worst character in the game and shit. And he won Evo with him.
That's because he's new. He's a new character.
Doesn't matter. He's supposed to be the worst character. That's like Sonic Fox or Alex, SRM White Beast. One with Fang,
Right.
or Snake Eyes won with Zangief.
Well, yeah, Zangief. No,
Or somebody won Evo with Kuma. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bronson almost won with Ogre.
he did.
Speaking of Sonic
He was
Fox,
pissed.
Sonic he won, but he was kind of struggling.
Tekken Master is the new second
Who
best.
is Tekken Master? I have never heard of
Somebody,
this.
he's some guy who
He
plays
never
Mortal Kombat.
played Tekken.
He plays
How
Mortal
dare
Kombat.
you?
He plays Tekken. I've seen his name online before.
Oh.
He plays Tekken, but I guess he's a top-notch Mortal Kombat player too.
Now.
Right. But
He put in work. He has a great neutral game.
Mhm.
It was a sight to see. He got blew up 3-0, and then he came back in grand finals and said, "We're gonna take this to the last round." Sonic Fox even pulled Superman, took off the eyeglasses, the hat, and said, "It's time to throw down," and won. Of course, he had to pick Alien.
he stopped being furry for a minute.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, can't be a furry man.
Well, actually, speaking of Evo, I was kind of want to shift gears into Tekken 7 as far as Evo goes. So, at Evo this year, we've seen a lot of crazy matchups, a lot of upsets to some, maybe just a big surprise to others. We've seen a lot of. I don't even think a Japanese player topped place 8 or placed top 8, did they?
They did. Nobody got top 8.
He got okay, but comparatively
And a Claudio
to
player.
but compared to last year, where you had Mr. Naps, an American, in 8th place, versus you had an American in 6th and in 4th or 3rd this year.
Yeah.
And even somebody like Punko, who is a Street Fighter player. What do you think? What do you think Tekken 7 is offering up as far as the sort of possibilities that people who go in and play in the dojo time have in competitive fighting or competitive Tekken? It's definitely a game changer.
Akuma's broken.
Yeah.
So, unless you're telling me you have to be Knee or Saint to beat a Street Fighter player playing Akuma,
right?
He didn't even know proper punishers and things.
Sure
Akuma's
did.
going to get the nerf back because he does too much damage.
Yeah.
10 frame punish that almost kills you. Stop it. Can't do it. Not in Tekken, please.
Right. It's actually kind of a very interesting dynamic there because you have a Street Fighter player with a Street Fighter character who doesn't know how to punish in Tekken, but the character's broke. But then you have a ton of Tekken characters who don't know how to punish a Street Fighter character. So, but I'm excited for it. So long as Akuma does get the Nerf hammer, because I can't break any more controllers. I can't break them. Not this generation. I can't break more controllers. They cost way too much. But what about you, Bobbito?
What do I want to say about this? I really don't care for all the characters that are being revealed.
I'm playing Lucky Chloe.
I'm playing
Lucky Chloe.
Claudio, and I'm dropping Leo.
I'm maining Jin and Fang, of course, and Double Jin.
I'm definitely keeping Quarong Oscar. Probably gonna pick up Josie because remember, like the last days of tag too. I tried to pick up Bruce a little bit. I like Bruce. I like his moves.
And the thing about Tekken 7, even though I don't like Akuma, it's really beginner friendly. Breaking throws is ridiculously easy.
Yes, I can match.
The movement and FR is a lot improved, so that's still going to be hard. But they are looking out for the new players in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's got supers. I mean,
without compromising too much. Though.
Right.
I think even seasoned players like us a little bit, like we. I mean, you can't just be you can't be a brand new ultra scrub. And
of course, they just start beating people. Punko knew his combos. This is no shade towards Punko. He knew when he converted hard.
Right.
So, but that also shows that they know what the reason why Tekken hasn't been so popular as all the other Capcom games and everything else in America, like Mortal Kombat and everything.
There's not enough pyrotechnics in it.
No, it's not really casual friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, you people can say, "Oh, they got Eddie. All you have to do is put his X's." No, like you play somebody even at a beginner level with Eddie, and it's bad. Shut up.
Somebody's drinking.
Somebody's drinking.
But a beginner level against Eddie, and you're gonna get destroyed. It's not even a thing. But the rest of Evo was pretty good.
Shout out to L.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bring it home for America.
America.
G.I.L.I. Joe. Yep. He was the man right there, man.
He was.
One of the most humble guys that you'll meet.
Yeah.
And just another kind of X factor, in my opinion, in that tournament. Because, like I said, there was a lot of, I don't know, America was looking really good at EVO this year.
It was.
Really good. Now, I did hear something. I kind of want to get you guys to take on it. I had heard that there was sort of I don't know if it's an article or whatnot, but apparently Japan is going to be, EVO's going to start a second
In Japan. Yeah, I saw that.
I was more curious about if there was maybe some politics behind that or whatnot.
Well, they don't have SBO anymore, which is Super Battle Opera.
Yeah.
So they need something. And, of course, in Japan, you can't gamble, so they're not really moving, which is why all the Japanese come over. But I wonder what they're going to... I'm sorry. Paragon had something funny to say. But I really do wonder what they're going to do with it, because are America's involved? Are we going to be invited?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think we'll be invited. I honestly do think, because from my understanding, like there were some issues as far as brackets were concerned with this EVO this year. I don't know the full details of it, but some people thought there was some sketchy stuff going on. And I think anyone from around the world is going to be welcome to come to Japan and compete in that tournament. I also do think that the tournament itself, that event, is also kind of ensure that, you know, I think it's going to ensure that Japanese players do get to kind of compete against each other and place at the same time. I think for a long time that, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
So where do you see Street Fighter V going from here?
I think, as far as the game or competitively,
the game.
I think at this point for the rest of this year, you're gonna see Jury and Urian come out. They might have a few switch ups because people who are using the PC mods and stuff. They're gonna get a lot more DLC and a lot more costumes, stages, or whatever. They're gonna kind of let that be the first year's season pass of it. I think by next year though, and I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something like Tokyo Game Show or something this year, if they kind of have a season 2 pass, and then it's going to be a whole nother set of Street Fighter or previous Street Fighter, 2 or Alpha series or 3 characters that come out, or maybe even 4. But I think that's pretty much where it's going to go. I've struggled with this question. I don't know if Street Fighter V has an 8-year shelf life.
It depends.
I think it could, but
it depends on the console thing, because we don't know how long the PS4 is going to last, especially with the. I know you guys were talking about later, Scorpio, right? Like,
or the PlayStation
Neo.
No, 4K.
4K.
They host that. Too.
I always buy consoles before they get like a terabyte update, which makes me mad. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think, but you also got to remember too, Street Fighter 4 when it came out, man, that game really brought the FGC out of the dark ages and into kind of the mainstream.
Even though Tekken was keeping it alive.
It was keeping it alive, but the thing with Street Fighter is that it's always been sort of the face. Street Fighter is the Nintendo of the FGC. Okay, everyone is familiar with it. Everyone knows it. They recognize it. They see it, and they love it. Play it. But that's about it. What about you, Bobbito?
I don't think so. It will. I really don't.
I do. I think it has a long life.
I think it's gonna last about 4 years, personally.
But anyway, back to Evo. So I know it's top 8 in Street Fighter V, especially surprised a lot of motherfucking people. Who expected L.I. Joe, MOV,
right?
Go eat you. Who the fuck is that?
I tell you one thing. I did expect Infiltration to win it though.
I did too. That's it. Who else?
Who needs a translator? All I'm saying is
download complete. Tool assisted infiltration is real, guys.
Right.
It's not banned online no more. In real life.
Infil Nation. Let's go. But
yeah, top 8, excuse me, was ridiculous.
Who did y'all want in top 8 personally?
I thought Daigo would make it. I thought Justin Wong or Knuckle Dude would make it. I thought Taquito, who's gotten top 2 at least. Shut up. Top 2 at least at every major he's been at.
I kind of wanted a Alucard or a Flash Mortroy to go up there too. You know,
right, Alucard was another good choice. Yeah. Flash Mortroy, but L.I. No, this is no shade to L.I. Joe and shit. But who expected the only American? And he did really well. Like there was no sweeps or anything in top 8.
It was definitely a Nash, Mika, Chun.
Oh yeah,
top 8.
Chun-Li, best character in the game.
Oh, yeah. It was Chun.
Nash is top 5. I have nowhere to put Mika, but it was only one Mika. It's Fudo. So
I think Mika. I put Mika in 5 because
I put her right outside.
You got Chun-Li. You got Nash. You got Ryu.
Karen,
and Mika.
I put Cammy in front of Mika. Honestly,
I don't play the game. I'm just going by what I see.
I put Dawson over Mika too.
Well, top 3 is definitely Chun, Ryu, Karen.
Yeah, Chun, Ryu, Karen.
Yeah,
and Nash is somewhere in there, and Cammy somewhere in there.
Well, the way Infiltration was bodying people when the game
He's
came out.
Korean.
Nash was considered the best character for a very long time.
A Korean won every major Japanese game.
Where the hell was Justin Bartholomew Wong this year?
Bartholomew.
Where was Jay Wong at?
He lost. He got 9th. He lost to Goichi.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But wrapping it up, I'm going to talk about a game we all hate.
No, wait.
But shout outs to Chris G for finally winning.
Yep.
Evo and Marvel.
And shout outs to Chris G for agreeing to do that money. I'm sure he didn't, but that was
ridiculous. I couldn't does anybody know like the story to that? I just heard he was challenging him to a money match.
I don't know. All I know is he wanted a money match. Chris G declined, and he got a little serious. He had this the frame of that video. That motherfucker had the controller up next to his face, looking like a versus screen. That was priceless. And then to see him get escorted off the stage by a cop and a fellow dreadwearer was fucking hysterical.
That's true.
So, but you know what though? I think you can expect a little bit more of that because I think after this year, with how much money ESPN poured into it, with all the sponsors getting all the kind of TV time they wanted and things like that. And these players getting crazy notoriety and stuff. I think you're going to get a lot more anxious, excited randoms who really want to make a name for themselves. And they're going to do stuff like that. They're going to try and get their little 10
So you think it's going to be like in sports when they just jump on the field and shit?
Oh, yes!
Time out. We don't know his name, though.
Who?
They had his name and then his Facebook got deleted. Because I was trying to click on it and they wouldn't let me click. I'm like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
But esports too good. Yeah, he is like in purgatory, locked up in the depths of like Mike Ross's basement right now.
Mike Ross.
You can't go to no more tournaments.
Fourth place.
You can't go to no more tournaments. You are banned from life.
But wrapping that up, how was everybody's Evo's experience? I really enjoyed it.
It was pretty good. I mean, I always hate watching Evo from work, but it was pretty good. It was a lot of There's a lot of excitement. It made me even more anxious for Tekken 7.
I would like to go to Evo, but
I'm going next year for real.
Yes, me and Charles talking about that.
I don't know. First of all, it's Vegas. I've never been to Vegas, so I'm not gonna have my mind set on. Hey, let's go play some video games.
Right? I say the same thing because I haven't been to Vegas either, but I'm still going to Evo. Fuck that shit. I'm a gamble. I'm a drink on the strip.
I have to go at least before Evo, get my
like 2 days before.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe like a week. Make it a week trip.
Yeah. Somebody's getting married soon.
Excuse me.
Right.
Excuse me.
Bachelor vacation.
Yeah, okay.
You get a 1 week pass.
Right.
Okay.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right.
Coffee.
As long as you don't bring it back with you. All right.
This is when, aka SRM Quasar. Almost said my real name. Later.
Always great to have SRM Quasar sit here and dwell on his future.
And slur his words.
If you haven't seen Evo this year, I do recommend just going on YouTube, checking out some of the clips. If you're a skeptic about esports, it's really great to watch. A lot of theatrics this year too.
Or just check out the SRK Twitch page and go to their past broadcast. SRK Evo.
Definitely. A lot of good stuff in Evo. Closing thoughts. Redline.
So far, fighting games are looking real promising. Still waiting on Tekken 7. As far as any other genre of games, this not too much. I'm quite interested in playing right now, at least not until Final Fantasy 15 comes out. And KOF 14, I think next month.
Yeah.
Yep, next month.
August or September.
Demo 4 just came out yesterday. It looks like it has some promise. I really want to play Nakaru, see why the hell she's in the game. But, it's SNK, so it's all good.
All right. Bobbito, final thoughts?
Can't wait for Claudio. I need a second character to play though, so Mr. Harada, hurry that up. And for all our weeaboos out there, Kubo sucks at writing, so
Quasar, anything you want to say?
Bleach was cold this week only.
Bleach is cold this week.
Because Aizen is a fucking amazing.
So how did Aizen get his sword back after disintegrated? Right there.
Questions about Aizen.
Right there.
The Lord.
All right. But that's all I have to say.
I guess what I'll say is ever since the next gen consoles came out, or the current gen consoles came out, I have to say that this moment in particular is probably the most excited I've been about games coming out. That's not to say that good games haven't come in the past. Dragon Age Inquisition was good. Arkham Knight, Metal Gear Solid 5. But first off, there's the everlasting hype machine Final Fantasy 15. Woo! Which I've been waiting nearly 10 good years for.
It's been longer than 10 years. That's sad.
There's that. I've got Scalebound that's been on hold for fucking forever.
Right.
A lot of new stuff coming out people are just personally interested in. It's a few new things, the sequels, sure. But, we also got some things that look interesting, worth giving a shot. It's the most excited I've been since these consoles came out.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, as my closing thought, personally, I can't be more hyped for the future.
Yes. I say here.
Here.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we have today. From Redline, from Bobbito, from Quasar, from Eclipse Bunny, this is Paragon signing out and tell you guys to stay opinionated.
Remember, you guys all buckle up in the journey.
What kind of closing is that?
Pretty well.